could feel it in my bones. There was something going on, that shade of doubt hanging around. God, oh, 'cause darling, there was nothing right when all you seem to do is lie. Those days are gone, I'm walking tall while you're alone. When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better. I'm better off. When I look at what I've done now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off. And baby, you don't belong. Your love was cold, heart made of stone. I'm just fine, I'm gonna shine, I'm alright. I'm celebrating my liberation. I'm moving strong, I'll get it done. I'm alright. Might be shaken but not stirred, just a lesson that I've learned. And so it goes, tables turn, and you're on your own. Put your pinkies up now, up now, up, live well to the extreme now. Put your pinkies up now, up now, up.
Hey, it's Pinky. You're on the Pink Pill YouTube channel. Be a love and like, share, and subscribe. Pinky's up.
Hey, 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 hey. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I see you guys are in the building, 300 in the building. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys for the Pinky Powwow Live. We got a lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about today. But before I say anything, I want to say this. I'm about to do kind of a commentary and a response to something that I saw last week on someone else's channel. And I'm just going to go ahead and call him out by name. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it now. This is a response to Kevin Samuels and his video last week on how long should a woman wait to have sex. Now, before I get started, I want to just say this. This is a commentary. This is not a beef. This is not me hating on him or hating on his success. That's not what this is. Do you know how, like, when you watch the news and somebody comments on something and says something, and then they'll have other pundits come in and comment on the things that they say? That's what this is. So people do that on my channel when I say things. They make commentary. Sometimes it's not so nice. Sometimes it's fair. Sometimes they just want to add another perspective. So in this case, though, I am singling out something that I firmly disagree with, and the reason why I'm calling him out by name is because he has influence and he has a platform with women that I care about. And I believe on this issue, this is something that I think is information that is detrimental to certain women who follow him. That's why I'm doing this video. That's why I'm calling him out by name. I'm not dissing him. There's a lot of things that he says that I agree with. I'm not, this is not a roast or anything like that. I'm simply going to take the words that he said in this particular video and address them. Okay? So that's all that's happening here. So I don't want anybody to go over to his channel and, bad talk him, troll his channel, or anything like that. That is not what I want to happen. This is going to be an intelligent conversation. Basically, he said, she said, where I'm going to address some things because I really think that it's important for us to understand a lot more dynamics and go a little bit deeper than what he talked about in his show, okay? First, and then I just want to say this. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you, mods, for holding it down. I think it's going to be an interesting show, so I'm going to need some people today, because I know you're watching. I know you're watching. I would like to take some calls from men, because I feel like they have some explaining to do. So for the men who watch Kevin's channel and agree 100% with what he said on this issue, I would like to hear from you today. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second, but I want to just say this, you guys. This is weighing so heavily. I started this Gran Cello Cava already. So I'm drinking champagne today. And yeah, I was just like, left eye, right eye was twitching. back of the head was hurting, and I was like, Lord, I need this. I need this. Um, Marlena Riley said, Crystal, and I promise that I will not go on KS channel and drag him. It's not worth my time. You guys, and it's really not. It's really not worth the time. But listen, what he's promoting in this particular situation is very self-serving, and it's detrimental to your emotional health and even your physical health. And we're going to talk about the idea of pretty much mandating that sex should happen by the third date. And this pushback from Steve Harvey saying that, there should be 3 months. You're going to be surprised at what I think about this and say about this, because I'm not 100% against the 3-date rule. Just hold on. And I'm not sure that the 30-day rule really will fly now that the secret's out of the bag and everybody knows. I'm not sure that that's going to be worth it for us too. But I want to just go ahead. Thank you, Horror Junkie for Life, for your super chat. Thank you. I certainly do appreciate that. Thank you very much. So I'm just going to go ahead. And play the audio and have my commentary, because I think that's probably the best way to handle this. Again, this is not a beef. This is not a roast. This is me having a rebuttal to an issue that I firmly disagree with and that I think is detrimental to women. Okay? So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and start.
A catch. And if you are trying to catch the same level of man over here, you over here talking about, you over here fishing for perch and catfish. And these are red snapper, swordfish, and marlin kind of brothers. You over here trying to get, alligator gar. And these brothers are deep sea fish. But you got some old lake trout, or your game has not changed. And we're going to have to talk about it, ladies, because these are the men that you say you want. And the worst thing you can do, in my opinion, is play games with them or waste their time. Because guys like Theo, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what most men think is you get 3 dates. 3 dates. And what is a date? When I meet you, it could be Starbucks, it could be dinner, it could be movies, it could be at the park.
Okay, so just to give you guys a little background. So he's talking about, the formula for dating high value men. And that, and prior to this, I just want to give you guys a little bit of background. Prior to this, he said that if you go out on a date with a man that you can see has the qualities that you want in a man, then you should already understand that, and this is the type of man that you want to sleep with, then 3 dates isn't unreasonable. And that if you don't feel that way romantically, sexually, then you shouldn't go on a date with him. Here's the thing. First off, I will say this. Women and men are different when it comes to aesthetics, okay? Men will size a woman up based on her looks, based on how she presents herself and say, that's the one. Women, on the other hand, don't necessarily look at a man's external and say, that's the one. There's a lot of times that we have to be sort of charmed and convinced. How many times have you dated a guy who was ugly or who you thought was ugly at first, but over time you got to know him? He was charming, he was smart, he had a sexy air to him, and he grew on you. But you didn't realize that in the first or the second date. There was a guy who I dated. I remember when I was in my 20s, there was a guy who I dated for a little bit who was way older than me. And I was like, he's not that cute to me. He's old, But he was, what he presented to be, a high value man. Wore a suit all the time, drove a Porsche, and he worked on me. I was not attracted to him initially. And it was over time with his charm and his, his game, because let me just tell you, what glitters is not always gold, ladies. So I found out that this man lived with his mama, which is how he afforded the Porsche and the suits. But he was not, these were things that, and this was pre-internet, so it wasn't like you could just look up somebody and see, everything about them. So you're believing what is presented to you. But here's the thing, in 3 dates, it is absolutely not enough time to find out if that person presents himself as he presents himself as true. It's just not enough time. And what is being asked of you is that you give your mind, your body, and your part of your soul to a man that you think has the qualities, but you don't have the proof yet. Do you understand that in 3 days, a man or a woman can be on their best behavior and they can present themselves in a certain way so that they may appear to be the person that you want? Do you realize it takes about 3 months to realize that you're with a crazy person? Did you know, and this goes for men and women, did you know that it takes about 3 months for that sociopathic mask to fall off if that person is this? So there's that, but there's also this. There's also now shaming, saying that women are playing games because they're dating multiple men in the same week. Let me tell you something. You absolutely should date multiple men. How else are you going to find the right man? You can't. And this is from the same people who say that there are time constraints. So if there are time constraints, then does it not behoove you to go on dates with multiple men? That's not playing games. That's called dating. That's called dating, okay? So let me just preface that. Let me continue.
3. First date, you get the first time you kick it, get to see each other. But you should you should not accept a date from a man that you cannot see yourself having sex with.
This goes back to what I'm saying. You shouldn't date a man that you can't see yourself having sex with. Women are not visual. Women need to have their mind seduced, okay? It's not the looks. This is a man thinking like a man. Men look at looks. They look at somebody, they say they want to hit it. Women, we have to be convinced. A lot of the time, especially if the guy is successful, he's not usually going to, it's like one or the other, okay? If a guy is super successful, he's not going to necessarily be, super fine. You're going to have to work up to it. You're going to have to get to know him. So you're not going to get that information by the first look. This is a man thinking like a man, not thinking how women think. I want to ask you guys in the chat, and thank you guys for the super chat. Got a $20, we got a $5 and $9.99. So thank you. So how many times have you guys gone on a date with somebody or started dating somebody, but you weren't necessarily attracted to him at first. It was his charm, it was his charisma, it was his intellect that won you over. You didn't necessarily know that you wanted this person to be your man or you wanted to have sex with them by the second date. That was something that, he had to kind of earn, right? Through his personality. And the reason why I put this video up is because people, when I put this up on my community tab, people were saying that he didn't say that. You're lying. This is defamation. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. No. Listen, I'm taking the words that are coming out of his mouth, and I'm talking about the words that come out of his mouth. Okay? So that's what we're going to address.
And when you deal with a man of a certain caliber, you don't get poor treatment. You're not getting cheap treatment. Many of these guys are like, I'll treat a woman on a wife kind of level just without the title. More on that later. But you get 3 dates. You get 3 dates. First date, second date, third date, it should go down. On the third date. Now see, if you're in your early...
Okay, so let me stop here for a second. So on the third date, according to Mr. Kevin Samuels, it should go down, according to him. Okay, it should go down. So you're supposed to, on the third date, yield your body and your mind to a man, and it is implied that you're going to be exclusive with him. It is implied that if you're sleeping with him, then you're not sleeping with anybody else, right? Is that what we're talking about here? So then on the third date, then the man should also be ready to be exclusive. So are we saying, Mr. Samuels, that on the third date, when sex commences, that men are ready to call this their woman? Are they then ready to say, this is my girlfriend, start introducing them to his friends, to his mama, taking her to Tiffany's to look at engagement rings? Because what you're asking of women is to give the most sacred part of themselves. And you hold it against us when we don't get it right, So this is the same person who uses words like women riding the cock carousel. So wait a minute. You're supposed to give 3 dates and have sex after the third date. But if it doesn't work out, it's your fault and your cock carousel riding. Please help me understand how this can work in reality. If you're going out with multiple men and you go on 3 dates and then you're going ahead and you're having sex with them and it doesn't work out, then what? Now you're used goods. Now you've been riding the cock carousel. You cannot win. I don't understand the logic here. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. Sasha Hart, it's called courting. Women must require that. It takes at least a month to determine if a man is even worth being your boyfriend. KS is just showing how low value he is. 3 dates. I don't know whether Kevin Samuels is low value or not. But the information that he's giving is something that I feel is wrong enough for me to actually call it out, because I think that women and men view sex differently. I understand that men, when they ask you out on a date, they want to have sex with you. I understand that. Women like to have sex too. But here's the thing. Women get attached. It is an emotional, hormonal, and physiological thing. A woman gets attached to the man she sleeps with. It is a bonding mechanism that happens. It's oxytocin. It is the same hormone that happens when you breastfeed your child. There's a bonding mechanism that has it. So you're asking a woman to yield to herself, submit her body, and activate that bonding mechanism in order to bond with you. And for what in exchange? Are you ready to call her your woman then? Are you ready to start talking marriage on the third date? All I'm hearing is that women need to be ready to give it up on the third date. But you're saying that these high value men spending $300 for 3 dates. So if you're going out on a date and you're spending $100 for her and $100 for yourself, or $150, whatever, okay, then basically $300 by the third date, he should get sex. So for $300, he's earned the right to your body and your submission and your yielding and that bonding mechanism that happens. Am I right? Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what I'm hearing? Because it sounded a whole lot like that. It really did. But I will say this. I know a lot of high value men. And let me tell you something, spending $300 on a date, spending $600 on a date is not a big sacrifice to them. High value men who make a lot of money, spending that kind of money on a date, that's not a big sacrifice. But what is being asked of the woman is something very personal. It's something very sacred. You throwing out $300 for 3 dates is nothing if you're really talking to high value men. Now I can understand somebody who's like raking up quarters to get that $100 out of the sofa, but you're talking about high value men. $300 is nothing, and you know this. You absolutely know this. Let's continue.
20s, that may sound like a little bit more of a push because you're still figuring things out, even in this kind of hookup culture. We're talking about getting serious, but certainly if you are if you are in the danger zone, if you go through 3 dates with the kind of man that I'm talking about tonight, these PCS, Henrys, high value guys that you should already be attracted to off rip, and it hasn't happened, ladies, you got some explaining to do.
No, Kevin, you have some explaining to do, because women don't work off of looks and appearance like men work off looks and appearance. Women need to be cajoled. Women need to be convinced. Women need to be seduced. You need to put in that work. Men need to put in that work to do that, especially if you're not. Women don't necessarily. Oh my God. Listen. Think about all the ugly rich men out there. You don't think they knew that they had to be successful because they were ugly? But while they were on the come up, they had to use their charm, their charisma, their intellect to attract a woman. Let me tell you something. Looks don't make me want to have sex with you. Okay? That's not what is going to do. I can look at good-looking men all day long. That's not going to make me activate those sacred juices. What's going to activate my sacred juices is not that little head. It's that head up here. Okay? And so I'm going to need for you to convince me. I'm going to need for you to seduce my mind before you get what you want from me. And that's just the way it is. But what he is saying is he wants total physical submission of a woman by the third date and implied exclusivity, but says nothing about whether that man is ready to have that exclusivity with her. Now, he's going to go on and say something that really makes you scratch your head, that really gets him caught. And it's the essence of the reason why I wanted to do this video, because of what he said here. I want you guys to make sure that you listen and don't miss this.
Am I lying? Gentlemen, am I lying? Am I lying, gentlemen? If it gets to the third date and she starts playing these, first off, every date, let me grab this. I need you ladies to understand something. In his mind, he already sees you as potentially the kind of woman, a woman that's a caliber enough to be his one-on-one. Boom. Boom.
So basically suggesting that every high value man that goes out on a date only goes out on a date with women who he sees as girlfriends. That is categorically untrue. And he's in Atlanta, he should know better. He should know better. He knows that there are plenty of quote unquote high value successful black men who will go out on dates all week long, will have dates 7 days a week, and play every one of these women and not take them seriously. And again, if he's talking about the true high value man with the heart of gold who rides in on his noble steed to come and save you, and he really means it, that's still going to take time for you to believe. And what he's asking is a suspension of reality. And by date 3, you should have done all your homework, all your bin verified background checks, driven by his house to see that he still lives at that house, look at his bank statements and his credit reports, and known he's sincere. No, he's expecting that it is just implied by his sheer high valueness, by his appearance. So here's the thing. We're blamed when we get it wrong, right? Women, we're blamed when we get it wrong. So we can't get it wrong. So that means that we need to take our time to figure this out. But you're then not giving us the time to figure it out because you're so busy trying to hop in the pants and giving it a time limit. Yet, when it goes wrong, it's women riding a cock carousel. We can't win. So if we're going to be held to blame for when this doesn't work out because we didn't choose correctly, then we then have the onus on us to take our time, period.
Ladies, understand something. He already sees you as the kind of man. He already sees you. Shout out to Kevin. Just got up and work a 14-hour day. Keep on preaching. Ladies, these brothers like this, if they ask you out, they already see you as the kind and caliber of woman that they could date 1-to-1.
Raise your hand if you have been played by a so-called high-value man that made lots of money and who had a good job or had his own business and had his stuff together and yanked your chain for months and months and months and months. He's suggesting that him asking you on a date means that he's looking at you to be his girlfriend. That is categorically misleading, and you know it. This is where we disagree. It's categorically misleading. Men ask women for dates and spend money like that all the time just to get what they want, just to play. The idea, the audacity that because a man of a certain how are you supposed to how are you supposed to distinguish Mr. Samuels between a player who has all these physical characteristics versus the internal characteristics, the internal self that makes that man quality. And how are you supposed to divine that as a woman in 3 days? Because what you're suggesting is that every man who makes 6 figures and up, every man who wears a suit, every man who has his own place is a sincere man who wants a sincere woman and wants it to work out and wants to marry you and wants you to be his, wants you to meet his mother on the 3rd date. And that's not true. Any woman who has been out in the dating world knows that these men who are at the highest echelon, especially of Black society, can put on the role and play that role. How are you supposed to divine whether a man is sincere or if he's playing by date 3? And we're supposed to know because why? Why? You've given me no evidence to divine how we're supposed to distinguish that, and that's a problem. That's a big problem.
They're not taking you out to a nice steakhouse just because they're trying to get laid. They can go.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do, Kevin. Men, like you're talking about, take women to steakhouses every night just to get laid. Every night. Please stop giving misinformation. Taking somebody to a steakhouse is nothing. I don't understand your mindset. Do you understand that maybe, I don't know, is it a Black thing? Because listen, I've been to Michelin rated restaurants where I've ordered wine that was $600 a bottle. Like, going to Ruth Chris is a chain and is not that impressive, okay? Like, I guess, I don't know if we're dealing on the same level, but a guy taking you out to a steakhouse who wants to get laid does that every day. He does that every day. I really don't understand this level of thinking. So if he takes you out to a steakhouse, that means he wants you to be his girlfriend? That's categorically false. And I can present to you story after story after story. And ladies, please feel free to put that in the comment section. Story after story of players who have taken you to nice places only to use you and to just play. Especially when you have this imbalance of imbalance of marriageable Black men within the Black community who do this all day. The successful men do this all day, okay? All day long. I had a friend who dated a doctor in Atlanta, lived with him. That man cheated on her so much, gave her herpes, didn't marry her, kept her stringing along. Please stop spreading misinformation because you're hurting people. And that's the reason why I'm doing this video. It's not to try to roast you. It's not trying to you gotcha or anything like that. I think a lot of things that you say, Kevin, are good, is good advice. But this right here, this is my bailiwick. This is talking about women's bodies and women's psyches and the vulnerabilities of women, and this is my lane. And I'm telling you that what you are saying is detrimental to the emotional health of the women who follow you. And I feel an obligation to say something.
Get laid anywhere. These brothers could actually, if they chose to, could go out and pay $1,000 escort. It's cheaper.
They don't want to do that because they want to chase you. They know that the end of a date from a high price hooker, they know what the outcome is going to be. They like the chase. They want to feel like they captured it. They have that option. but they want to earn it. So yes, they could, but it's just not as fun. Come on, be honest.
I need you ladies to understand. You're getting premium dating from a premium guy when there are other when other women are getting less than. You need to understand. And if you accept a premium date, you're telling him you're interested in having sex with him.
Can we pause for just let me um 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 namaste. Let me understand this. Let me understand this. So if a guy decides that he wants to take me to Ruth Chris Steakhouse instead of Applebee's, and if I accept the Ruth Chris Steakhouse invitation, then that means that I'm obligated to have sex because of the caliber of the date. Let me understand this. So, the caliber of the date is predicated on sex. So, because he took me to Ruth Chris and not Applebee's, then it is implied that I should have sex with him. Who are these women? Who are y'all? Who is he talking to? Because the women in my circle can take themselves to Ruth Chris every single night if they wanted to and eat on their own. So who is he speaking to? Who are these women? I wipe my behind with $300. I don't mean to be crass, but I'm serious. Who is he talking to? Is he talking to women like me? Because I'm danger zone. You know, I can't wait. When you're in your early 20s, you can be like, oh, I don't know. Old 47-year-old washed up women like me, I need to be like jumping on it. I need to be jumping on it, riding it around. Yes, Hercules, Hercules. Who are these women? Who are they? Who is he talking to? Is he talking to low value women? Because anyway.
So there's no pressure because it should already be understood. First date, get to know you, whatever. Good night, kiss on the cheek, kiss, however it goes, depending on what y'all ate. Some people kiss first date. Some people, I can take either way. I really, honestly, I'm either way. I've always been this way. But by the second date, touch barriers should be broken because sex should be already be understood. Because it's understood that if you're my woman, I gotta pay. If I gotta pay this whole thing, and if I'm setting a standard, I gotta maintain it. See, men understand that they gotta be transparent, gotta invest, and you ladies.
Men understand that they have to be transparent. How many transparent men do you know? Just put it all out there. Just lay it all out there. Just, this is me. Here's everything. Here's all you need to know. What? Where? What? Who are these men? What planet are they on? Men understand they need to be transparent. What? Lord.
It's on your side of the table to where the ambiguity is, the vagueness is. The social contract has been broken by women more so than men today. This is why dating does not exist, because so many of you ladies are defaulting on the social contract. Every date should move forward.
Okay. I didn't record this part. I should have recorded this because this was like my gotcha. But you can, and I'll even put the link in. There's a portion of this commentary, of his monologue, where he says, and it's around 30 minutes, where he says, the first date is cool, I'm fine, you know, we're just getting to know you. The second date, I want to know if you're the type of woman that after I sleep with you, I want to continue to date you. Do you know what that's saying? And I promise you, he said that. I promise you I'm not making this up. It's there. He said, by the second date, I'm trying to ascertain whether when I sleep with you, do I want to continue on? So he basically outed himself and said that by the third date, he's going to sleep with you. But on the second date, he's already decided what category you are in. He's already decided that after I sleep with you, I'm going to decide whether you are, you know, just the pump and dump or wifey. But I'm still going to have that third date because I'm going to sleep with you. So armed with this information, Mr. Samuels, that by the second date, you're categorizing the woman that you're planning on sleeping with. And you're categorizing her whether you're going to, you know, sleep with her and continue, or actually, you know, just move on and sleep with her. You've just told us, sir, that men are capable of going on a third date with you and sleeping with you, all the while planning to move on. It seems to me that you have some splaining to do. God, I wish I had recorded that. Why didn't I record that? Literally, he said that. Trust me, because if anybody takes the time, if you guys want to take the time, somebody in the chat, if you can find the timestamp, it's around 25, 30 minutes. If you go to that thing and you put the timestamp in, please let me know, because it's worth listening to. He says by the second date, he's deciding whether after he sleeps with you, if he's going to want to continue, which implies what, ladies? Read between the lines. It implies that men will sleep with you knowing damn well, will sleep with you on the third date knowing damn well that they're not willing to pursue a relationship. And what are you supposed to do? Do it anyway? He just admitted it. He just said it. Ladies, I don't know. And yet, here I am. There are 941 views right now here, but there'll be 5,000 views on his channel. And that's why I'm doing this video. Not because I'm hating, but because of this blatant misinformation. that's come out of his own mouth that is wrong, that is detrimental to you as a woman, somebody who has the interests of men in mind and not you. And yet, every night, 5 days a week, there's 2,000, 3,000 people and vulnerable girls, young girls are listening to this. And I'm sorry, but I feel responsible for the people who listen to my messages. Couldn't sleep at night if I was selling young, impressionable people down the river by telling them to sleep with guys on the third date, not knowing what this person already admitting that by the second date, this guy's already trying to figure out what category are you in. Are you the jump off? Are you the booty call? Or are you the girlfriend? So here, let me ask you this. So if you are asking so much, of the woman on the third date that she should give herself physically to a man, then by the third date, are we exclusive? On the third date, are we mano a mano? Are we in this together? I need answers. So on the third date, am I meeting your mama? At the third date, are we making plans to shop at Tiffany's for my engagement ring? Because if a woman is supposed to know all of this stuff, she's supposed to know everything about this man. She's supposed to divine his intentions, his personality, his character, what his likes, his dislikes, his idiosyncrasies. She's supposed to know all of this stuff by the third date. Then doesn't it mean that the man should then also know all of this stuff? I should be your woman. You need to introduce me on Facebook. I need to be meeting your mama, your friends. I need you to be tagging me on Facebook. What is that happening? Because if that's not happening, then what are you saying? That I'm supposed to give this of myself, but you still have time to think about it. And because you spent $300 at Ruth Chris Steakhouse, I'm supposed to give it up, but you can have all the time in the world to figure out whether I'm wife material. But I'm supposed to know everything by the third date before I give myself physically, emotionally, and spiritually to a man. How sway. I just cannot. So listen. I'm going to take a break because I need to get. I want to take calls. Men, I know you're listening. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you have to say about this. Please help me understand what I may be missing, because I seriously do not understand this. By the third date, if a woman should be giving of herself, then the man should also be convinced and have all of the information that he needs in order to be exclusive with her and go on track towards marriage. Isn't that right? Yeah. So I just dropped the Zoom link. Men, I would love to hear from you. If you're dusty, though, and I can tell if you're dusty. I can tell. I'm hanging up on you. But if you're an intelligent man and you have intelligent things to say, I'm certainly willing to listen. I do have a special guest who wants to come on first. I'm going to make sure that she gets that opportunity. I'm going to take a quick break because, y'all, I need to just decompress and get myself together because this whole thing is just bizarre to me. And the fact that, well, anyway, I'll be back.
Okay, cool cultivate, okay?
Okay, so we got the cool cultivate. First on our commentary. Cool cultivate, what do you have to say about all this?
Hi, first of all, happy Sunday. I want to start off by saying that advice is very blue collar advice. Real high value men, they're not counting dates. They're not looking at how much their $300 we've established is not looked at as an investment. But I think there's a huge part that's missing from this that no one is saying. High value men, not every high value man is going on a date looking for a wife.
Absolutely.
Just as not every woman going on a date is looking for a husband. And I think that is the mistake that a lot of women are making. And Kevin's commentary is kind of perpetuating. It is putting into the minds of especially very young women that going out on a date, every high value man that you come across, any high value man that you cross paths with is automatically husband potential. And the problem with that is it's a very lack mindset. And you end up wasting your time. This is why it's so important to understand that when you are elevating yourself, when you are leveling up, so to speak, that is not an external thing. That's not, you can't just focus on the external because that's how you end up cheapening yourself. When you're focused so much on the external, you're doing things like looking at a man's wallet and not his characteristics. Absolutely. And that's how you end up with futures instead of Russells.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think they're, exactly, and I don't think that they're understanding. Men with money can be dusty too.
Yes, they can. And often are.
Men with money, a lot of them will have.
Why are they deifying men with money? Like, automatically because he has money, he's like has a better character than everybody else? Why? I don't understand that. How is that even correlated?
I think a lot of it does have to do with the fact that for a lot of Black women, hypergamy, especially here in the Western world, in the US, hypergamy is something that is new. And so, with a lot of new things, there tends to be this very extreme view of thinking. So, they think high value also means high quality when that is not the case. And that is another reason, ladies, why you really, really should stop listening to men tell you how to be a woman. There's nothing wrong with seeking advice from men. It's okay to get insight from the men. But when it comes to actual womanhood, even the most well-meaning man does not understand what it is like to be a woman. So he cannot walk you through womanhood. All he can do is preach womanhood to you from his perspective.
And from his self-interest as well.
Exactly. And then on the dangerous side of that, you have a lot of men, very effeminate men, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're gay, just very effeminate men who are out here competing with women. And because they're competing with women, they're looking for ways to police women, to sabotage women. And they say things like that. And I'm not saying that that's what Kevin is doing, but there are men out there doing that as well. So that's all I really, really wanted to come in and say on that. Again, you guys keep your elevation journey really does need to start internal. I see way, way, way too many girls falling for this kind of crap, and it's not okay. And and like Crystal said, it's very harmful outside of risking things like STDs
and pregnancy that you will be blamed for. Let's get it twisted. You will be blamed.
You end up being a baby mama, and then they're telling you should have chose better. Outside of that, in this day and age, the high value image can be faked. And things like sex trafficking is very real, especially in places like Atlanta where Kevin lives. Men pull these women onto these dates all the time, and then you never hear from them again. You guys really have to be careful. So when you are in the process of leveling up, you need to start internally. The internal stuff comes first. That means investing in, if there are things you need to heal from, invest in therapy. If there are areas in your life, like femininity isn't just etiquette and dressing pretty. It's not. There's a lot of inner work that starts first before you start going into the outer work. And yes, you do have to do the work. That means actually investing in that work.
Yeah.
And I'll throw some shade. That includes not bootlegging Crystal's course for $20.
Yeah. We ain't gonna talk about that. Yeah. We're not gonna talk about that. Yes.
We're not. But you really do have to be willing to invest in yourself, and investing doesn't just mean putting energy into things that look good on paper. A lot of people want to go from the chains of Egypt straight to the promised land without going through that wilderness phase.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that wilderness phase is where the real transformation takes place. So that when you do get to the promised land, you already know how to move.
Okay. Well,
that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you for your commentary. I'm gonna let somebody else in. Introspective male. Unmute yourself. Introspective male. Hello, you're on. Okay, introspective male. Say something in 3, 2, 1. All right, well, sorry. I'm going to let somebody else in. Sean, you are on. Hello, hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hi.
Crystal?
Yes. You're on. Say something.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, awesome. Sorry, I've never had Zoom set up before, so sorry if my audio is bad.
It's okay.
But one of the other girls wanted me to call in, but I'm not going to sit here and trash Kevin, but just generally speaking from my life experience, that uh, I believe it is. There's nothing casual about sex for either men or women, and um, for different reasons, of course. But uh, having sex on a third date is just going to lead to a realm of disaster for you. That yeah, I'm white, but
I can tell. And also
yeah,
from the South, right?
yeah,
Where are you from?
yeah. It is. I'm from Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Yes, ma'am.
Clinton country.
Yeah. Unfortunately, back in the day, anyway.
Yeah.
But
So would you expect if you took a woman on 3 dates, would you expect by the third date that she should know everything about you to feel comfortable enough to give herself to you physically?
I don't believe how you can just at 3 days.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The I mean, it takes a long time to get know somebody's true nature, and just like as you was talking about earlier, at least waiting 3 months before that kind of veil starts to drop down,
Mm-hmm.
and you see their true nature is, at least a minimum. I would say more 6 months.
Wow.
You know, but
So
even
you're
even
willing
that
to
can
wait for
happen.
that? You're willing to wait for that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, anymore, I'm not. Back when I was younger, I'm not gonna lie, I was all about just sex and all this other stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that led to disaster with like my ex-wife and stuff like that. And looking, looking back after all that, it was a a disastrous decision just based on sex, really. Because I mean, it's a long story, but between my ex-wife and this other girl I had option of going with at the time, I chose my ex-wife because she was the smaller, prettier, girl, right? But yeah, and the other girl was, the girl with the heart of gold, and you know, in my future prospects now that I want, family and kids and all this, she would have been the best option.
Mm.
And that's where I believe uh, men in general make a huge mistake. Now, I mean, there was a lot of things that led up to that, childhood abuse in my childhood and all this other stuff that led to those bad decisions. I didn't have a good uh, parental establishment to look to model what a good relationship was.
A lot of us haven't.
But either on how did what happen.
Well, thank you for um, for for sharing with us. How did you find my channel?
Well, actually, the first black girl I dated, uh, it was just to make the story short. We was messing around. I was kissing around on her. I went to touch her hair, and she threatened to. She was like, she turned around. And she was like, "Don't touch my hair. I'll touch it." I was like, okay. And so anyway, I went online and started trying to search up stuff to figure out what
I love that. So
women.
you were trying. So instead of getting offended, and I'm sure it surprised you, you decided to go online and investigate and learn about us so you can have a better understanding.
Yeah, well, that's where I came along your channel one time and some other channels, and I just realized, black girl's hair is a lot of work, and so I understood it, and but anyway, that was how I originally found your channel and stuff like that, and I've been watching you ever since. Why? I mean, it's not relatively kind of my content, I guess, because I'm just a white dude, but I do like your content for some odd reason,
Well, I hope it's not odd.
And you look gorgeous.
I have a good. Thank you. I think I have a good channel, so thank you. I appreciate it, Sean.
You do.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And
well,
just for all the other ladies out there, just boiling it down, what Crystal says is, protect your women, right? And that's probably the smartest thing you can do.
Thank you, Sean. And
Thank you, Crystal. Have a good one.
You too. Wow, but they don't want us though. They don't care about us. They don't want us, right? Isn't that what we told? They don't want us. Arkansas. We out here in Arkansas. Introspective male, I'm giving you one other chance. Introspective male. Okay, well, I tried. I want to get more men on here. Oh, look. The real Mr. E. The real Mr. E. Hello, Mr. E. You're on. What is it? How come Mr. E? You are on. Say something. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going down. I'm gonna add Miss K. Harris. Miss K. Harris, do you know how to unmute yourself so you can speak? Miss K. Harris. Hello. Hello. I can barely. Hi, I can hear you.
Hi, this is the wrong. I'm not Mr. E, I think.
No, you're not Mr. E.
Okay.
But I tried to let Mr. E in, but he has not unmuted himself. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? My I guess the internet is behind because you're saying one thing on the TV, and now you're saying you're ahead of what I'm watching on TV.
Yeah, so that's why you need to turn it. You need to turn it off while you're on. Otherwise, you'll be confused, and there'll be a feedback, and it's just not a pleasant situation.
Okay, yeah, let me turn that off.
Okay.
Yeah, I just. Thank you so much. I've been a fan of your show for about a year now. I think what you're doing is absolutely excellent and wonderful.
Thank you.
And I love the way you dress, your makeup, and your hair. You look very nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, what I wanted to say is that with respect to your platform, I feel that Kevin, he appears to have narcissistic traits to me, and he's just, he has this dusty logic. So, what I do with men like that, if any man that I'm ever dating, if they try to come on to me sexually very early within the date, I give them a contract. And I specifically made a contract for them to get them to agree to, which they usually don't because they don't have good intentions to value the commitment or the connection anyway. They just want sex.
Wait a minute. So you actually write out a contract, print it up, and present it?
It's already a format that I made a couple years ago when I got tired of going through the nonsense with men and the inappropriate sexual innuendos and all that nonsense. That's a way, that's what I use to weed men out.
Okay.
And it's actually funny to me because I know once they see the contract and see what's in the contract, it runs them away.
What's
Because
in the
my whole
contract?
thing
I'm curious. What is in the contract? Please tell me.
well, every woman can create their own contract. It's just basically a moral and financial obligation in a contract that they have to agree to.
But do you realize that nobody had. Okay. I see the point that you're making, but until there's an actual formal commitment, like y'all are getting married, um, that's the promise. The promise is the formal thing. And so I don't. I guess before I cast any judgment, has that been successful? Have
Well,
you
the
presented
whole
the
the
contract? Let me no wait a second. Have you presented the contract to a man and he signed it and adhered to the contract? And what are the
the
penalties for not for breach of contract?
Well, the point of the contract is mainly to run away men who don't have the appropriate, who are liars and who don't want a commitment, who are trying to come on to me sexually in the beginning. But so far, anybody that I've presented it to, it's not, they don't sign it because they're not serious.
Well, maybe they okay. Just playing devil's advocate. So
It's just like
nobody that
after
you
the,
presented it to has ever signed it. And you
no,
okay, maybe they haven't signed it because it's a little much. And that's
no,
not to
you
say
know
that the
what?
motivation, I understand your motivation, but it's a bit much.
No,
Okay?
but you know what? It's a bit much when the man thinks that he's obligated to have my body on the first and second date.
Yeah, well that is, but you don't
That's
need to have a contract.
that's
You don't need to have a contract
that.
to set those boundaries.
Well, no, it depends. That's my method. That's what I do, and it's worked. So it helps me weed out the nonsense because I've had issues with men who would whole purpose of being with me and going into the relationship was just for sexual purposes.
But
So that's
has the
my
contract
technique.
helped you find your guy? Like, are you
I
still
don't
looking
use
for your guy?
I don't use the contract for the purpose like a man that's serious, that's genuine, and that's honest. I don't utilize that contract for him because
Okay.
his intentions are great. But the men who are clowns and that's disrespectful and that's trying to use up my body, that's the way I weed them out.
Oh, okay. So this
It's
is
just
more of like a deterrent. This is kind of like
a
dust
deterrent.
repellent.
Yes,
Okay, so this is a dust
yes.
repellent. Okay, that makes sense because if you're just using it on like everybody, I
No,
don't. Okay.
no, I didn't say that. I said that it was specifically for men who were trying to use my body up for sex and have no other purpose of wanting to be with me other than that. And
Okay.
for men like that, I say to just get an escort.
Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever works. If that works for you as a dust repellent, then girl,
Yes.
that's good. Thank you so much. Introspective male. I see you have tried to come on here, and you
Can you
are
hear me?
unmuted. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Thank you for
Sorry
joining us.
about the technical difficulties.
No worries. What did you have to
Yeah,
say?
so I find this to be a very interesting topic because I personally don't take dating advice off of the internet anymore because I find that a lot of the information is kind of used to pander to a certain archetype of person just
Okay.
for like the views and the donations, whereas like at the end of the day, men and women are all driven. Like we have instincts, men have their instincts, and
Okay,
women have
you
their
can you
instincts.
I think okay you sound clear for a second and then it sounded muffled, so I don't know if you're doing something with your phone, but like if you could just make sure that
Oh,
your beautiful mouth is on the speaker so I can hear you clearly, that would be great.
is this better? Am I
Yes,
coming through
that's
clear now?
perfect. Beautiful. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, so I was saying that I stopped taking the dating advice off of the internet because a lot of it, like I say, it's used to pander to an audience, just for like views and likes and whatnot, and at times we don't really take in the information from a like a moralistic point. So a dating coach can tell you, no, do this and this and this, but then at the end of the day, like does it suit like what you want out of life? You know what I'm saying? So for me personally, like I think that with the dating advice, right? You get the modern secular advice because, like, let's be honest, there are some women, and I'm not saying all women, who go out with the intention like to meet a guy and just do the thing. And then there's other women who are not. So we can't necessarily put all women in one subcategory. So I think you have to deal with people based off of like the internal values that you look for in a partner. So yeah, it's kind of it's difficult to say. So for me personally, like I use an integrity framework. So I don't judge a woman based off of how she looks like, but more like the internal qualities. That for me is it trumps what she looks like, because she can look like a supermodel, but internally she might be not for me. I won't like use any derogatory terms, but she might not be for me.
Where are you from?
I personally think
Where are you from?
I'm from South Africa.
Oh, okay, from South Africa. This sounds really great. What do you think about the whole 3 date mandate?
What, in terms of like if she doesn't give it up in 3 dates, then
Yeah.
she's like, okay. So for me personally, right, I kind of stopped dating because I found that there's a lot of secular energy in the dating market. So I can't knock the framework that I don't use. I don't use that framework. You know
So
what
how
I'm
do you
saying?
find
So
women? How do you meet women if you're not out there dating?
I don't look for it, you know what I'm saying? I'm just out living my life and having interactions and building my network, and like out of that, if I find someone to be interesting, then I date out of that. But I don't just go and build a database of women to go to, because that's ineffective for me, in terms of like I've only got 24 hours in a day. So with that being said, I think men and women need to start holding ourselves accountable for the results in our lives. So, like I say, the 3 date rule, for some people it might work, for some people I don't know, I can't say, but for me personally, there's some women, like I say, maybe the information that's being given here is for people that are just looking to hook up, because at the end of the day, we do live in a hookup culture.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
no, actually, the person who promulgated this was saying if you're looking to be serious with a high value man, then after 3 dates, you should already know that you want this man to be your boyfriend and your husband and be submissive and open it up and bust it open, everything else by the third date. That was what was presented. So this is not about hooking up, but just a limit on if you want to keep this kind of good man, then this is what's required of you according to this person. But thank you for your commentary. I got to move on because we've got a room full of people. But thank you so much for coming in, introspective male. And good luck to you on your journey in finding the woman of your dreams.
All right, take care. Good show, by the way.
Thank you. The real Mr. E. The real Mr. E.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. What do you have to say?
Perfect. Okay, so I'm sort of off the video, so I don't really know what's going on. But yeah, I just wanted to say that all of this is, in some respects, like a little bit perplexing to me.
In what way?
Well, we're talking about, like, is there a certain amount of time that a man should expect a woman to have sex with him, is there a time, like what that time is, and all those time frames just seem like sort of stupid to me. Like we're not.
Okay, I gotta ask you a question.
Okay.
How much money have you spent on a date with a girl without getting any sex afterwards?
What's the maximum amount of money I've spent on a date with a girl without getting
laid?
Without getting sex from her?
Mm-hmm. Or having sex, whatever, getting laid, whatever. Making
Probably
love. Doing the horizontal mambo, whatever.
Yeah, probably about $5,000.
Wait a minute. Wait. Ladies, we have a winner here. The real Mr. E
No, I mean, it's not a competition.
$5,000 on a date with a woman.
Well, you have to understand that I was looking for a wife, and I found her.
Mm-hmm.
I found her, it doesn't matter how much money I have to spend on that.
Somebody would tell that to who. $5,000.
Honestly, Chris.
Yes.
When they call you Chris.
Yes, you may.
Put me in front of that motherfucker for 1 second.
Oh.
I will destroy him. He's a joke. He's a charlatan. He's a nothing. Honestly, he has no standing to talk about high value men because he's not a high value man at all. At all.
Wow.
He's not.
Those are some fighting words there.
Let me get my girlfriend on here and she will destroy him in person, just out of the pure necessity to do that. He's a joke. He's a nothing person. And for him to sit here and lecture all of us about how men and women should relate to each other is an absolute joke. It's an absolute joke.
So why do you think he has why do you think he's captured so much attention?
So many young women want that guidance. They really do. Just like so many young men do,
Mm-hmm.
So many young people want that guidance. How am I going to get to this dream of love that I've been given? How am I going to get to it?
Mm-hmm.
And he is giving an answer. He is giving a snake oil answer. He's giving a lie. He doesn't know anything about love. I'm sorry. I'm 54 years old, and I have been around the block many times. And this snake oil salesman knows nothing, absolutely nothing about men or women. And, to hell with him,
Wow.
You already know the answers. My girlfriend has nothing but respect for you, and frankly, she turned me on to you.
Yay.
But if anybody's listening right now, there is a truth here. There is a deeper truth here, and there is a big fraud. And so I want you to listen to the deeper truth, because Chris does know that. Crystalline. Sorry.
You can call me
I don't
Chris.
need to be. I don't need to be.
After you told me that you spent $5,000 on a date without expecting to get laid, you've got my eternal respect, Mr. E.
Well, you know what? Like, it's like I'm not. I, maybe it's because I'm, I've lived my life a lot, but I'm not about, like being a like petty player. I was when I was a teenager, that's teenager stuff.
Yeah, well,
you
Kevin
know?
is 51, so what's his excuse? He's
Yeah,
51.
well, I don't want to speak to him. Actually, I do want to speak to him, like personally, but I'm not going to do it right now. Like, who's he playing? Like, what game is he playing? Nobody of his age, no man of his age should ever be preaching this kind of crap. That's just abusive. If you don't understand women at the point where you're 51 years old, where you're just gonna just exploit people, because you want to make a little, a couple of ad revenues
and super chats.
What the hell is wrong with you? Like, I don't know. Like, if you can get me on with him, I will go on with him all day long.
Somebody asked if your girlfriend was black. Super
yes,
chat.
she is a very beautiful, intelligent black woman. She's like, she's worked harder than she works harder than anybody I know, and she's pretty much as smart as anybody I know. And I've met like very intelligent people, like historically intelligent people. She's like the best person I've ever met, and yeah, she's black as hell. She's black as night.
And you spent $5,000 without the promise of sex. Well, thank you, Mr. E. I think we need to end the show. This is where we need to end the show. So, Mr. E, thank you so much. And
it's absolutely a pleasure, Crystalline.
Oh, thank you. And good luck to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. Well. That was interesting. That deserves a pinky two-step with Waldo. Right? Yes, it does. So, you guys, thank you for the super chats. We will next week announce the scholarships for the Pink Pill for College. If you want to apply for the Pink Pill for College, you can email me at ckarazin@gmail.com. Please give me your name and your socials, like your IG, why you would like the Pink Pill for College, why you want to be considered for it. Everything in the super chat goes towards, sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once. Type ckarazin at Gmail. Everything that you contribute goes towards another girl getting the Pink Pill for College. So thank you for that. I hope you guys listen. Again, this is not a beef. This is commentary on an issue that I disagree with. I know some people are more passionate about this, but for me, this is about looking out for young women who are looking for answers, who are looking for someone to help them figure things out, and getting information that may not be helpful for them, that is self-serving for that person. And I don't believe in doing that. We were going to talk about virgins. We're going to talk about, how do you handle virgins? That's a whole other thing. and I think I may tackle it this week because I actually have a book recommendation on how to handle that. So I'm hungry and whatever. So I need to go. So I'm going to dance the Pinky Two-Step. Thank you guys for your super chat. Thank you guys for calling in. Thank you for listening. And here we go. I haven't found a new song yet, so whatever. We can't do that one. You know why we can't do that one? Because it's not summer anymore. So we can't do that one. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't set up to do the song. Unless it's okay for us to do Summer Breeze. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, not that one. Okay, I know which one we'll do. I know this one we'll do. We will do this one that I'm about to play because this is the anthem of the divested woman. And you guys love this song. This is the intro that plays during the intermission before I go on. But you guys, there is a reason why. There's a reason why I play that song, okay? So we are going to dance to, because what we have learned today is that we are better off without mess that hurts us, that's going to make us feel less than, that people are going to give us misinformation that's going to ultimately hurt us. We are better off, and that's what I'm going to play right now.
I could feel it in my bones. There was something going on that should have doubt hanging around.
Listen to the words, y'all.
God, oh. 'Cause darling, there was nothing right when all you seem to do is lie. Those days are gone. I'm walking tall while you're alone. When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better. I'm better off. When I look at what I've done now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off. And baby, you don't belong. Your love was cold, heart made of stone. I'm just fine, I'm gonna shine. I'm alright. I'm celebrating my liberation. I'm moving strong, I'll get it done. I'm
Song is called I'm Better Off, and there's a playlist of all the songs on my video.
Might be shaken but not stirred. Just a lesson that I've learned. And so it goes, tables turn, and you're on your own. When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better. I'm better off. When I look at what I've done now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won,
I love that song. Who wants another song? Skiddly that deep. Let's see. Thank you guys. I hope you learned something. Where are you? I love it. Yes. Yes. Look at high value, girl. Thank you. Thank you, Happy Unicorn. Come on now. Here's to $5,000 dates with black jeans. Yes. And with that, pinkies up. Great show, everybody. Thank you. See you next time.